If you need help and you want me to be there and you tell me no, what more can I do?
All right, but when I ask you for stuff, it's always a problem.
How is it a... You just asked me.
It's a problem.
What did I do?
Right? What did you do?
Stroller, you ain't even put the stroller up.
When this grandbaby is born, I'll be able to look at it and tell. That's the only reason she was there. Because once this baby comes out, I'll be able to tell if this is my grandbaby.
She looked like him. I said, oh, look at your baby, woo, 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 and all that.
Just in case it isn't. My mom has to read that obituary. She lost a child. If this baby turned out to be his, do I want my mama to look in there and look at a reminder of a baby that was supposed to be his? I'm thinking about my mama feelings. It don't have nothing to do with her.
Buckle up for this emotional roller coaster. Mr. Lang expresses his strong desire for the child to be his, despite his doubts about paternity. He clearly articulates his emotional state and hopefulness, highlighting the personal stakes involved in the case. But guess what? The plot thickens just around the corner.
Mr. Lang, you and your mother have been waiting in agony to find out if you're indeed the biological father of your little daughter, Janelle. Now, although you have doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more than for this child to be yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wait till you hear this bombshell. A critical revelation occurs when Ms. Lang accuses Miss Brown of potentially cheating on her son with his best friend, Mr. Dixon. This accusation throws a wrench in the whole paternity question, cranking up the tension in the courtroom. And you won't believe what's coming up next.
Because I found out that Brown slept with my son's best friend from the Sandbox best friend, or Mr. Dixon's.
No, that's not true, Your Honor. I've never slept with Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends for a while. They've been going at it, trying to fight each other.
Hold on to your popcorn. Here's a twist. Miss Brown recounts how Mr. Lang reacted positively upon learning of her pregnancy, showing his initial commitment and excitement about becoming a father. This moment really paints a picture of the emotional bond and acceptance of fatherhood by Mr. Lang. But hang tight, there's more juice to squeeze.
I was at the doctor. I came home and I gave him the paper saying I was pregnant. He kept the paper. He even took it to school to show everybody, oh, I have a baby on the way. He stayed with me through the whole entire pregnancy, birth and delivery. He was happy to have a baby. I wasn't sure about keeping a baby. I just started college.
Can you handle more drama? Watch this curveball. A dramatic twist in the narrative unfolds as Mr. Lang begins to harbor doubts about paternity after seeing Miss Brown with another man, Mr. Dixon. This adds layers of suspicion and betrayal to the story. Strap in. The emotional turbulence is just getting started.
Walking to her house, to her apartment, while I'm like walking down the street, things like that.
Was this before or after the baby was born?
Before.
Do you have any idea why another man, Dixon in particular, would say he's the father?
And I've never slept with him. Me and him was not even cool. When we even seen each other, it was never like that. It was always a group of friends.
Here's a tender yet tangled moment. The birth of the baby brings a touching scene where Mr. Lang actively participates in the delivery process, showing his deep emotional investment. Yet, doubts about the baby's paternity immediately cloud the joyful moment, adding complexity to his feelings. You'll want to stick around for what's next.
When this grandbaby is born, I'll be able to look at it and tell. That's the only reason she was there.
Did you think the baby was yours?
He thought it was his, and I interject right there. She looked like him. Look at your baby, woo, 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 and all that. And then he pulled the hat off. He said, Mama, what's up with this hairline?
Gear up for the big reveal. The climax of the episode comes crashing down with the unveiling of the DNA test results.
In the case of Lang versus Brown, when it comes to 1-year-old baby Janelle, Mr. Lang, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
Buckle up for this one. Miss Hooker steps forward with her mother, firmly claiming Mr. Abraham fathered her 10-month-old daughter, Kenaya. They're not just here for drama. They want an apology from Ms. Baker and her family for publicly denying the child. Their denial, they claim, has caused unbearable emotional strain. And guess what? The story thickens from here.
Ms. Hooker, you are here with your mother because you say the defendant's son, Mr. Abraham, fathered your 10-month-old daughter, Kenaya. You say that Ms. Baker and her family's denial of this child has caused you pain, and you are here for an apology and to prove her son is the father.
Here comes a curveball. Representing her late son, Ms. Baker steps up to challenge the allegations head-on. She asserts that Mr. Abraham had serious doubts about his paternity before his untimely death. The courtroom is charged with tension as she seeks to clear her son's name and confront Ms. Hooker's claims. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for what's next.
Ms. Baker, you and your daughter are here today to represent your son, Mr. Abraham, because tragically he was killed 3 months after the birth. You say that before his death, your son expressed great doubt, father of Miss Hooker's baby, and you are here to put the lies.
Yes, Your Honor.
The atmosphere gets heavier. Miss Hooker, clearly fed up, voices her frustration and indifference to the skepticism surrounding her daughter's paternity. Her detachment is palpable as she dismisses the judgments and opinions of others. But don't go anywhere. The emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
I'm just sad sometimes. I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. That's how I feel. I don't care anymore. Feel nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just
just seemed like everybody else looking upside my head like I'm an animal. Like every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm just outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is it a problem? That's why I just say I don't care about nothing.
Dive deeper into the backstory. Miss Hooker opens up about her roller coaster relationship with Keyshawn, from best friends to partners and back to friends. It's a tale of young love and complex emotions, peppered with the ups and downs of their on and off romance. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's more to come.
6th grade year, we was best friends. Like we stopped talking, then we started going together for a minute, and then like we just, when I got pregnant, we was just like always talk, but we just stopped going. But we still talking though, but we just stopped going together. Like we weren't boyfriend or girlfriend.
But then you still talked.
Yeah.
Were you in love, or this was your first love?
Yeah.
This moment will tug at your heartstrings. The judge solemnly acknowledges the tragic passing of Keyshawn, who was fatally shot, leaving unresolved issues and deep grief in his wake. The emotional weight of this revelation hangs heavy in the air, but hold tight, the revelations ahead are even more startling.
May I ask what happened to Keyshawn?
He was shot on a Sunday and he died that Friday.
I'm so very sorry.
He just told me to promise him that we was gonna get a test done because of what the other young man said, and you know.
What did the other young man say?
He told Keyshawn that when he wasn't around, he was supposedly sleeping with the night.
Tensions flare up now. Miss Hooker vehemently denies any other romantic entanglements when Ms. Baker suggests there might have been another potential father. The courtroom becomes a battleground of words as trust and truth are put on the line. You definitely don't want to miss what happens next.
Cause how can somebody tell me who I was sleeping? Nobody in the room was.
Keyshawn told us that he wanted the blood test. Keyshawn only denied the baby when him and my daughter was arguing. Other than that, I have pictures with him laying on her. He had doubt only when he was angry, getting mad at what he tell his mother or nothing like that. He held the baby, kissed the baby, and loved the baby. We just need to get the results from Miss Carolyn.
Surprise, surprise! Ms. Baker recounts how whispers and rumors led her to discover Miss Hooker's pregnancy. It's a small-town saga of school bus gossip and family dinner revelations that had everyone talking. And just when you think the dust has settled, the plot twists again.
How did you learn that Miss pregnant?
She ride the same bus daughter and my granddaughter does from school, and they had came home like prior months before she was supposed to be pregnant. And I asked her, I said, do you know anything of your daughter being pregnant? Girls said they were on the bus, and she's
She gonna
like,
find out what she having tomorrow.
Emotions are running high now. Ms. Baker and her family express their turmoil and confusion, deeply troubled by the paternity mystery and its impact, especially on Keyshawn's well-being before his death. It's a poignant reflection on how deeply personal this ordeal is for them. The next turn of events, absolutely gripping.
My mama has a relationship with them. I don't. It may or may not be his. I did not put the baby name in there just in case it isn't. My mom has to read that obituary. She lost a child. If this baby turned out to be his, do I want my mama to look in there and look at a reminder of a baby that was supposed to be his? I'm thinking about my mama feelings. It don't have nothing to do with her.
Get ready for a showdown. The courtroom heats up as a fiery exchange breaks out. Miss Hooker is sharply admonished by the judge for stepping out of line, highlighting the need for decorum amidst the chaos. But keep your eyes peeled. The most jaw-dropping part is yet to unfold.
They don't have to.
I already told, you know what I said already, Judge? Since she got left out the obituary, I have already told them, if it comes back saying Kenaya belongs to Keyshawn, a set of obituaries made. Baby grow up and she read her dad's obituary. There's her name.
And now, the moment of truth. The DNA test results are finally revealed.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenaya Abraham is 0%.
And this is why right here.
Ms. Baker, are you all right?
Just when you thought daytime TV couldn't get any juicier, Miss Seuss hauls Mr. Payne into court, pointing fingers at his mother for his refusal to acknowledge their 10-month-old daughter, Aleliana. She's adamant about getting his name on the birth certificate once paternity is confirmed. Strap in, because Mr. Payne's retort is just around the corner.
Ms. Seuss, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you say it's his mother's fault he's denying your 10-month-old daughter. You claim when the DNA results prove he is the father, you want the defendant's name added to her birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the plot thickens, Mr. Payne and his mom lay out their case, citing Ms. Seuss's allegedly sneaky antics during their on-and-off 3-year saga as the root of their skepticism, demanding a DNA test before any signatures are penned. The sparks are about to fly even higher in the next exchange.
Mr. Payne, you and your mother say the plaintiff's sneaky behavior during your on-and-off 3-year relationship has led you both to believe she is a liar. You say you need the DNA results or you're not signing anything.
Yes, Your Honor.
The tension ratchets up as the couple delves into the nitty-gritty of their rocky relationship, spotlighting a laundry list of jealousy and trust issues. Accusations are tossed back and forth, setting the stage for even more revelations. Buckle up because the gloves are coming off next.
So jealous and insecure about himself. Like, everywhere I go, he think I'm doing something. I go to the store, I gotta be back in a certain time. Like, he's just crazy.
Your Honor, she lying. She been out there, Facebook messages.
You guys, they're both jealous.
Of course I'm jealous. You were my boyfriend for
it.
like almost 3 years.
And why wouldn't I be
You guys
jealous?
do the
She was
same
my
thing
girl.
to each other.
All right.
How old are you guys?
I'm 19.
I'm 20.
In a dramatic twist, accusations about past indiscretions surface, throwing the paternity of the child into question right after they've rekindled their romance. Mr. Payne ties these doubts directly to his insistence on a DNA test. Things are about to get even more tangled up ahead.
He was happy for a minute. I don't know. I guess there we go with the DNA test stuff, so.
Your response, Mr. Payne.
I was happy and shocked at the same time because I felt like it happened fast.
Yes.
How soon after you got back together did
2 weeks.
It seemed like right away. It's the first time she got pregnant, I knew without a doubt it was his because she didn't go anywhere. I couldn't get rid of her. They break up so much, and they were broken up for about a month or something.
Yes.
They got back together, and she got pregnant.
Yes, we had sex.
Amidst a whirlwind of emotions, the announcement of the pregnancy initially brings joy, but quickly morphs into suspicion and demands for a DNA test due to their recent patch-up. The emotional roller coaster is far from over. Keep your eyes peeled for what's next.
And so you said we're not doing anything till we get a DNA test.
Not, but I said, me personally, I wanted a DNA test to make sure that it was his. Told him that he should get a DNA test because they both do things to each other. It seems like they go tit for tat. You're talking to a girl, I'm gonna go talk to this guy. They do this.
I'm not innocent.
This is
but
what
I'm not
they
gonna
do.
put no
Me
baby
neither.
if it's not your child.
But I was there
And as
through the
far as
pregnancy.
But you really weren't.
But I wasn't though.
How?
Because you wanted to stay away.
As the courtroom hangs on every word, Miss Seuss shares the solitary struggles she faced during her pregnancy, feeling abandoned and choosing to go it alone despite Mr. Payne's sporadic presence. Emotions continue to escalate as we dive deeper into their story.
I've been doing this for so long by myself. It's like, I'm just fed up.
She didn't have to be alone.
Yup,
That was
'cause
on her.
who was
She
there
chose
for
to.
me?
She chose to. Me?
Mr. Payne says you didn't have to be alone. Why did you choose to do this by yourself?
Because I've been independent for so long, for so many years by myself. I was used to it, so it was like,
Did you want him to be there and help you? I'm confused as to why you didn't allow him to help.
it was too much for around my daughter, and I don't
Okay.
want that all around her, so.
Layer by layer, the discussion reveals the strained relationship between the child, Mr. Payne, and his mother, highlighting a lack of connection and Ms. Seuss's challenges with co-parenting amid continuous strife. The emotional fireworks aren't done just yet. There's more to come.
So for the past 10 months, you've been raising her on your own.
Not on my own. Like, yeah, he comes in and out. I don't like that. If you're gonna stay out, you're gonna come in. Like, if she knows you're that, stay in.
If you need help and you want me to be there and you tell me no, what more can I do?
All right, but when I ask you for stuff, it's always a problem. though.
How is it a You just asked me.
It's a problem.
What did I do?
Right? What did you do?
Stroller, you ain't even put the stroller up. Because it's
I'm not
blue.
putting my, yes,
Because
the
it's-
blue
You should have told me
stroller.
that, and I would have replaced it.
Reaching a fever pitch, Ms. Seuss explains the critical role of Mr. Payne's name on the birth certificate and how his refusal has exacerbated feelings of rejection and complicated their co-parenting dynamics. The climax is nearing, and you won't want to miss it.
In your court papers, you say he's not on Aleliana's birth certificate.
Yes, that's another reason why I didn't let him take her as much.
Don't sign it if you have any doubts. Get the DNA like y'all doing now.
And I had a
Then
doubt,
sign
and
it.
it's sad that it took 10 months for it to
sad.
happen, but at least it could happen today. And if it is my child, I'm gonna step all the way, 100%. You
All
don't
the
gotta
way.
say good.
At last, the much-anticipated paternity results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Payne, you are the father.
Thank you.
I'm happy. Now I'm happy. Now I could be happy.
Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions. Ms. Brown Murray stands before the court outraged by accusations from her husband, Mr. Murray, who doubts the paternity of their child. She has been accused of infidelity while serving in Iraq, which she vehemently denies. The emotional weight of these accusations is palpable as she defends her fidelity and the integrity of their family. Buckle up, because the courtroom drama is about to get even more intense.
Ms. Brown Murray, today you say you stand before me outraged because your husband has accused you of infidelity while serving in Iraq. Furthermore, you claim he now doubts paternity of your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
You won't believe what comes out of Mr. Murray's mouth next. Mr. Murray presents his argument, suspecting that his wife cheated on him while she was deployed overseas. He believes that the timeline of her pregnancy announcement is too soon after her return, making it impossible for him to be the father. This moment heightens the tension in the courtroom as he lays out his doubts and fears. Just wait. The plot thickens in just a moment.
You argue that your wife did indeed cheat on you while while serving overseas. You contend that there's no way you could be the father because she announced she was too soon after returning home.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Brown Murray is about to spill the tea on military life. She explains the difficulties of staying faithful under the pressures and temptations of military life overseas. Despite the presence of attractive colleagues and challenging conditions, she reassures the court and her husband of her commitment to their marriage. Her detailed account of communication challenges during her deployment, including dealing with bomb threats, illustrates her efforts to maintain transparency with her husband. The next part is a doozy, so stay tuned.
I'll be honest, when you're overseas at first, there's gonna be temptations, guys that look good, and there's gonna be guys all around, and you're gonna see guys, but that doesn't mean that you have to cheat and you have to go outside of your marriage. There's temptation all around, but I didn't cheat and I didn't go outside of my marriage, and I know that in the military there's a rule that we can't do that. And I assured him every day I Skyped with him every day. When I wasn't able to Skype, it was because there was a bomb going off or something that I would have to get in the bunker and it's in hours.
Mr. Murray is about to lay his heart on the line. He shares his personal struggles with being alone in a new state while his wife was deployed, highlighting his vulnerability and the psychological toll of her absence. He expresses his insecurities about the age difference between them and the presence of younger men around his wife at the base. His fears are compounded by the isolation and his apprehensions about his wife's fidelity. Gear up, because we're diving deeper into his psyche next.
First time me being alone in another state with no family. My wife is deploying overseas. Don't know if I'm gonna ever see her again. Is she still gonna have love for me? It's a lot of men on base, a younger man. Keep in mind, I'm 22 years older than my wife. So that has a lot to do with my being guilty.
Because you feel like she may have wanted to be with someone younger.
Yes.
Things are about to get even juicier with this next conversation. Rumors and misconceptions about relationships on military bases are discussed, adding to Mr. Murray's anxiety. A young man from Mr. Murray's apartment complex fuels these fears by describing a culture of secrecy and infidelity among deployed personnel. This conversation significantly influences Mr. Murray's doubts about his wife's loyalty. Stick around, the emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
While I was there in the apartment complex, I met a few people. This apartment complex has 85% of military people either still active. He said, what you really, this is when I really got worried. In the military's world, when they overseas, they have a group of people, and that group got to stay with each other. If they're there for 2 years, he said it could be 40 married ladies on base.
And that's not true.
Watch as a new witness turns the heat up in the courtroom. A witness, a former military member, testifies about the common behaviors and unspoken rules among soldiers stationed away from home, which often include forming close bonds that may lead to infidelity. This testimony is meant to provide context to Mr. Murray's concerns, but also highlights that not all military personnel engage in these behaviors. The discussion sheds light on the challenges of maintaining marital fidelity in a military context. Fasten your seatbelts. The courtroom drama escalates from here.
First and foremost, I don't want to bring any discredit upon the military because the actions of soldiers, there are a lot of times where you join the military and you're away from home, and so the first thing you can do is cling to people who are around you. You develop a camaraderie. Pretty much what goes on base stays on base. You know, the unofficial term for it was temporarily divorced.
The tension is almost unbearable as we near the DNA results. The climax builds as Mr. Murray discusses his suspicions around the timing of Ms. Brown Murray's pregnancy announcement shortly after her return. His previous medical condition, which could affect fertility, adds to his skepticism about being the biological father. This part of the episode leads directly into the unveiling of the DNA test results, creating a peak moment of suspense. Get ready for the big reveal. It's just around the corner.
And so how soon after she returned home from Iraq did this pregnancy announcement happen?
She came home in November.
Given the fact doctor had already told you had a low sperm count before she left for overseas and she never got pregnant.
Never did.
Then she comes back home and in under a month she's pregnant. You say to yourself,
how can that be?
This child may not be mine, is
right.
What you were thinking. I think it's time we get to results.
The verdict is in and you won't believe the outcome. The resolution comes with the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court that you are her father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I offered him a DNA test in the hospital. He didn't want it. I made appointments for DNA tests and have been on my way to pick this man up for the DNA test. He wants to give me stories. Oh, why did you stay in the hospital for 3 days? Why didn't we take care of this 3 years ago?
This evidence shows that he has a stack. He grew into it, but when he was born, it's genetic things. About my son, I told him about it. Oh, yeah. So if that ain't your baby, take your shoe off. Let me see your toes.
You want to see my toes?
Let me see. Take them off. You got on, did you put on socks?
I left school, walked 2 miles to a family's home, knocked on their door, no answer. Looked through the peephole.
floor, see shadows moving all around, park myself on that concrete style for 4 or 5 hours till they had to come out.
All right, let's dive into the drama. Ms. Davis steps up with all the confidence of a lioness, absolutely sure Mr. Gilbert is the dad to little Corey. She throws a curveball by blaming his sister for all the paternity doubts. Oh, family drama. Gotta love it. Get ready, because Ms. Davis is about to spill the tea on their whirlwind romance.
You say that you are convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt Mr. Gilbert is your son Corey's father. You feel the only reason Mr. Gilbert is denying paternity is brainwashed and manipulated by his meddling sisters.
Yes, Your Mom.
Here comes the love story. Grab your popcorn. Ms. Davis reminisces about their romance that sprinted from zero to baby in no time flat. They were all about love at first sight, and suddenly, baby plans were on the table. But hold on, the plot thickens as doubt starts to shadow Mr. Gilbert's mind next.
We met in my old neighbor. It was like love at first sight. We was friends first. When we was in love, I didn't want to get pregnant, but he wanted to.
And so wait, you're dating, you say you fall in love, and he says, I want a child. He wants you to have a baby. And you say, okay. And you all purposefully.
Yeah.
And were you committed? Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am. I was committed. I haven't been with nobody else.
Wait for it. Doubt enters the arena. Just when things were looking up, Mr. Gilbert starts second-guessing if he's the daddy, all thanks to a whispering campaign led by his sister and some neighborhood gossip. Drama alert. This is where the feels and the family pressure cook up a storm. Next up, we're rolling into how they found out about the bun in the oven.
So I don't understand how you're doubting her.
It's not down her. It's just down the situation at hand. Family don't feel like he mine. Maybe it's the persona she gave off.
They don't know me,
She
but
give
they
me
was
different
friends.
vibes.
They was cool with me at first until I got pregnant.
Plot twist incoming. Ms. Davis tells the tale of how she discovered she was pregnant with Mr. Gilbert by her side, turning into a supportive soon-to-be dad, or so we thought. This sweet flashback moment is dripping with drama and diapers, but don't go anywhere. The reaction from Mr. Gilbert's family is up next, and it's a doozy.
You remember this day, Mr. Gilbert? And you go get the pregnancy test. You take the test, and what happened?
It came up positive.
At that moment, did he express any doubt? Mr. Gilbert, did you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Now, I'm looking at this photo. You look like you in a relationship. Always love these shots. You kissing the stomach.
Can you feel the tension? As soon as the family gets wind of the pregnancy, the doubt virus spreads like a bad cold. Mr. Gilbert's family starts throwing shade, questioning the baby's paternity like it's their job. And just when you think it can't get any more tangled, we're about to dive into their plans for the future amidst this soap opera.
The streets talk, and she was messing with other people at the time, Your Honor. That's why I'm saying we heard from people that she's pregnant before she started messing with my brother. If he could have kids, he'd have 6 of them. He hasn't had it. And that's why we're in denial, because my brother, he's sick and he hasn't conceived any kids.
Here comes the legal lowdown. Judge Lake lays it on thick, explaining just how deep the legal waters are they're swimming in. This isn't just Maury-level drama, it's got real-world stakes. And just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, you're swimming into the deep end with their current relationship status.
So this is a picture of baby Corey. You say his dad on the
as
other.
a child.
And you say you see the resemblance?
They just don't like me, so of course they're not gonna like
It's
my
not
son.
about like. He asked me, did the baby look like him? I told him, no, I don't think that's your baby.
Ever seen a relationship as roller coastery as this one? They're not just on again, off again. They're maybe make another baby on again. As they hash out their current romantic turbulence, hold on to your popcorn, because the DNA results are coming and it's about to be a blockbuster reveal.
Working on a relationship.
Yeah, what I heard, she was pregnant right now by another man.
Did you just say, Miss Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
That you heard Davis was pregnant right now?
The man.
Ain't you trying to make another one?
Oh, okay. If it's pregnant by me, then yeah. But I ain't heard about this other person.
How you letting her lie?
That's what I heard.
I'm not letting nobody.
And here it is, the grand finale. The DNA results are in. And guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Gilbert, you are the father.
Can you believe the curveball we just saw? As tensions ramp up in the courtroom, Mr. Drumgold lets his frustration fly, frustrated over the lack of clarity from Leanne. He believes if things had been transparent from the start, they wouldn't be in this mess, highlighting just how strained everyone feels. And if you think that was intense, just wait until what's coming next.
Mr. Rich,
Go back up.
you came here to get an answer.
I have not called him lately.
I don't care, man.
My phone tells it all. But that's all it was, a speech. If Leanne could have had it her way and they'll want us know, we wouldn't be here today.
You'll want to buckle up for this one. Ms. Holman drops a bombshell, insisting on the necessity of a DNA test right from the get-go, due to her early suspicions about the father's identity. Her foresight into the potential complications sets the stage for the drama unfolding in the courtroom. And guess what? It only spirals from here.
At the end of the day, you're a liar. I've been telling you this since I was pregnant.
No,
At the end of the day, it's all coming out today.
I told you I wanted a DNA test.
I'm tagged.
I told
Ms.
you.
Coleman.
Did that just flip the script or what? Judge Lake steps in to acknowledge Mr. Rich's emotional struggle, lauding his maturity and honor amid the chaos. This moment underscores the court's attempt to maintain dignity and respect despite the swirling turmoil. And just when you think you've caught your breath, the next moment will knock the wind out of you.
Mr. Rich, I am so happy you turned around and came back. I know how painful this is for you. I don't want you to get so angry that then you have come in here honor. You have shown a level of unconditional love that everybody in here.
Here's where things get even spicier. Enter Mr. Matthews, a new potential father, throwing another wrench into the already complicated paternity puzzle. Sudden introduction adds layers of intrigue and emotion, thickening the plot considerably. The courtroom's about to get even more heated, so keep your eyes peeled.
Mr. Matthews into the courtroom. Mr. Rich, calm down. Just take a deep breath. Listen, you want the truth. That's what I'm trying to get for you, but you gotta let me want to know. I'm giving you the truth. Gotta sit through and you've gotta listen. We cannot go to a better place.
Are you ready for this whirlwind? As the court dives deeper into who might be baby Alani's dad, Mr. Matthews confirms his intimate ties with Ms. Holman during the key period. This confession cranks up the tension, adding yet another twist to this paternity enigma. Brace yourself. The crowd's reaction is just around the corner.
I'd like to understand what your relationship was with Ms. Holman. She said she was intimate with you as well during the window of time when Alani was conceived.
Yes, ma'am.
I can see how uncomfortable this makes you. And I would like for you to take this opportunity while I hear the rest of the testimony to go and speak with Dr. J. And I will never allow you to sit here.
This part is a real doozy. Mr. Drumgold can't hold back any longer, venting his frustration about the ongoing ambiguity and emotional toll it's taking. His fervent outburst captures the high stakes and personal toll of the court's impending decision. Up next, the atmosphere gets even more charged, if you can believe it.
I also know she's not gonna change, but for her to simply say, tell me that I'm supposed to be the only one. 3 of us in here, and she's still saying that. Expect her, boy, if she just say, look, at the end of the day, I really don't know. Instead of just saying, oh, it's his. But yet you want this baby to be mine.
Have I been with all 3 of these men? How do you know there's only these 3 men? Because I gave them name. This is not true. Here it is. It's ugly. Now I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
What's coming next is a total shocker. The courtroom holds its breath as the judge announces Mr. Rich is not the father of baby Alani, sparking an uproar among the spectators. This revelation pivots the spotlight to the remaining contenders, amplifying the suspense. You won't want to miss how the next result shakes out.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. The first envelope is for Mr. Rich. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rich is not the father.
Here's the clincher everyone's been waiting for. In a dramatic culmination,
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Drumgold, you are the father.
Exactly.
wow. Talk about a plot twist right out of a soap opera. The episode kicks off with Judge Lake taking Mr. Wallace to task about his love life, which seems more complicated than a reality TV series. She's all, how can you say you're single, while waving around evidence of marriage and a bunch of kids? And Mr. Wallace? He's just standing there insisting his marriage was an accident, like he tripped and fell into a wedding. Things are just heating up, and you won't believe what comes next.
Now, it would be different if you were just a young man and you had let all these women know that, listen, I'm a dating man, I'm single, but you're not single.
That was an accident. That was
an accident. So now it was an accident. You are not suggesting that your relationship is an accident.
Now that was an awkward family reunion moment, wasn't it? Judge Lake keeps the spotlight on Mr. Wallace, pointing out that his love for his kids doesn't quite match up with how he treats their moms. One of the women drops a bombshell by saying, Mr. Wallace texted her sweet nothings just last week, totally contradicting his I'm over you speech. Judge Lake is there like the mom who's had enough, reminding everyone to act like grown-ups for the kids' sake. Grab some popcorn because the drama is just getting started.
I love my kids dearly, but I shouldn't have
You just don't love their mother.
He's lying because he was texted a couple of weeks ago telling me how he still loves me.
You married to him.
We're trying to get divorced.
Did you see that coming? Poor Ms. Austin thinks she's engaged to Mr. Wallace, who's still very much married, and it's more tangled than a soap opera plot. Judge Lake is like, girl, what are you doing? While Ms. Reed chimes in with her 2 cents about Mr. Wallace's text escapades. Ms. Austin sheepishly admits he might have fallen for his charm, like it's a rom-com gone wrong. Hold on to your seat, because the next revelation is just around the corner.
Ms. Reed said he just texted her a couple weeks ago and said
Dominique, I didn't know that he said.
So you're a changed man?
Like, the cycle is not gonna stop one right here.
I'm gonna get to the paternity results in a moment. I need to read the results of Mr. Wallace's lie detector test.
Okay, I didn't expect Ms. Austin's jaw to drop like that when the lie detector results hit the fan. The court reveals that Mr. Wallace admitted to juggling 4 other women like he's auditioning for a reality TV dating show. Ms. Austin looks like she's about to fall off her chair, realizing she's been played like a fiddle. Meanwhile, Mr. Wallace keeps trying to deny texting any of them, holding on to that story for dear life. Just wait for the next twist in this roller coaster ride.
Past 3 months, you had admitted in advance that you had sex with other women that weren't involved in this case, and the lie detector indicated that you were telling the truth.
And there it is, the classic reality check moment. After those shocking lie detector results, Ms. Austin finally sees Mr. Wallace's true colors and decides she's done with his nonsense. Judge Lake gives her a pep talk, reminding her that everyone's fallen for the wrong person at some point, turning heartbreak into a life lesson. Ms. Reed's out there applauding like it's a motivational seminar, giving support where it's due. Brace yourself because the revelations just keep coming.
By surprise, like you weren't expecting to hear that. Let's really keep it real. You're not the first woman that has loved the wrong man for too long. And Ms. Reed is clapping for you on, so you don't hold your head down, lift your head up.
Did Mr. Wallace just admit to being a serial fibber like it's no big deal? Judge Lake questions his logic, wondering why he can be honest with her, but not the women he's stringing along. Mr. Wallace, with all the casualness of someone discussing the weather, claims they already know who he is. Like that excuses everything. Judge Lake isn't having any of it, calling him out for being a Class A liar. Just when you think it's over, there's another surprise in store.
In advance of taking the lie detector test, you know, why even take the lie detector? I'll just tell the truth. You tell me all the truth, but you don't tell anybody you're sleeping with any. But you stand in here, and when I ask you something, you just say, yep, that's correct.
They know what I am. They know what I do.
Can you believe it? Mr. Wallace's courtroom exit looked like the climax of a dramatic movie, but then he comes back in, all apologetic. He gets emotional, talking about never having a father figure and wanting to do better for his kids, showing a side we haven't seen yet. Judge Lake is there with a metaphorical box of tissues, encouraging him to take this chance to grow and become a better man. Trust me, this next part is something you've got to see to believe.
Sometimes we have to have that in life, but I'm glad you're back.
I'd like to apologize to you in court, and the bailiff, to Miss Reed and Miss Austin, Miss Roberts. This is where I'm from. I never had a father.
Take your time.
It's hard not to cheer for Mr. Wallace as he tries to turn over a new leaf in this emotional confession scene. Judge Lake is practically a life coach at this point, offering him the resources to be the father and man he aspires to become. There's a real sense of redemption in the air as she stresses that honesty is where it all begins. And just when you think it's all settled, the next reveal will have you on the edge of your seat.
That's a tough exterior. The things and the issues you've been a victim of. Your childhood, not having a father. And I want to say to you in front of everybody, and that's what a boy would have done. And what did you do? You walked back in.
Did anyone else feel the suspense build up as we waited for those paternity test results?
When it comes to baby Danielle Wallace, Mr. Wallace, you are the father.
I gotta go.
Here we go. The curtain lifts. Mr. Lillard claims he opened the case after receiving a message from Ms. Holt's 20-year-old son, Delvin Holt, last year. He alleges that for 20 years, he has been unsuccessfully urged by Ms. Holt to acknowledge paternity of Delvin. Buckle up because this roller coaster is just taking off.
Mr. Lillard, you say you were forced to open this case after receiving a message last year from Ms. Holt's 20-year-old son. You say you have unsuccessfully tried for 20 years to get Mr. Lillard to accept responsibility for your son.
You won't believe this throwback. Mr. Lillard recounts his high school romance with Ms. Holt in 1997, describing their close relationship and the emotional significance she held for him as his first love and his first heartbreak. This relationship set the stage for their current conflict regarding paternity. Strap, the next part is a real doozy.
Me and Ms. Holt met back in 1997, summer school, high school. She'd go out to eat with my mom, I'd take out to eat. I was in love with her. You know, I experienced a lot of things with Ms. Holt. She was the first.
Your first for a lot of experiences?
A lot of experience.
You've got to hear this bombshell. The turning point in their relationship came when Mr. Lillard caught Ms. Holt cheating. He describes skipping school to confront her, leading to a discovery that ended their relationship abruptly and left lasting emotional scars. Just when you think you've seen it all, plot thickens.
Oh, this very sunny, bright day. Just decided not to be at school. Wasn't in none of our classes. We usually meet up, and so I tell you what, let me skip school myself. I left school, walked 2 miles to our family's home, knocked on their door, no answer. Looked through the peephole, see shadows moving all around, parked myself on that concrete style for 4 or 5 hours till they had to come out.
This twist is juicier than a primetime soap opera. Ms. Holt admits to having tested another man for paternity, revealing that Mr. Lillard was not the only potential father she considered. This complicates the case by suggesting multiple possible relationships during the conception period. Hang tight, the next revelation is a head spinner.
I was already pregnant before that even happened.
And you gonna sleep with somebody else?
No, Gather, thank you very much. And you know that we was having unprotected sex, so therefore you cannot deny and say that.
From the mouth of the babe himself, Delvin speaks about his desire for closure and the impact of Mr. Lillard's denial on his life. He expresses a need to confirm his paternity, to move forward emotionally, highlighting the personal stakes involved in the case. Up next, the intrigue escalates. Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Your Honor, my mom has always told me he was my father. Basically, came here to let him know I don't need a father, but I just really want to come to find out if he is so I can have closure, me and my.
I mean, you can tell on the pictures, they look just alike. It's not a secret.
It really it hurt me a little bit. Any kid needs a father, you feel me? Boy at that, so it was painful to know he didn't want to deal with me or nothing like that, but it brushed off growing up.
This part is as confusing as a maze. Mr. Lillard discusses previous DNA tests and the confusion surrounding their results, which purportedly excluded him as the father. This revelation adds a layer of doubt and mistrust to the proceeding. Brace for impact. The DNA results are about to drop.
Did you sign off on this?
Strange part, when I called them to get the paperwork to show that done this already.
But you did receive a result, you said. And what did that paperwork look like?
Numbers and all the matches, all that stuff, and down at the bottom in red, Darius J. Lillard could be excluded as the father. Cause I've had 4 of them done. I've had 4, so I trust me, I know.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. The court reveals the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lillard, you are not the father.
The drama hits the fan as Mr. Ball comes out swinging with some hefty accusations. Mr. Ball claims Ms. Cox told him she couldn't get pregnant and now alleges he is the father of her child. He argues that Ms. Cox was unfaithful during the conception period, a claim she and her friend confirmed. Strap in, it only gets wilder from here.
Either you were told by the Ms. Cox that she could not get pregnant, and now she's claiming you argue she was sleeping with multiple men at the time she conceived, and say her best friend confirmed that your other sexual relationships ended prior to sleeping, Mr. Ball.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you think it's a straight shot, Ms. Cox throws in a curveball. Ms. Cox refutes Mr. Ball's accusations, stating her relationships with other men ended before their encounter. She believes Mr. Ball is the father of her daughter and is also countersuing him for an unpaid loan, adding a financial dispute to the paternity question. Brace yourself, because the plot is about to thicken.
You know, we were talking every day, morning, noon, night, we would talk every day. Maybe within the last 90 days of me, I was getting letters from her best friend stating to me that she was sleeping with other men. When I asked her about it, you know, she told me there's nothing to worry about. Whatever was going on, it's done with. Don't worry about it.
Grab your popcorn for this grocery store showdown. A dramatic recount by Mr. Ball describes a confrontation with a man he suspected was involved with Ms. Cox. This incident happened shortly after his release from prison, heightening the tension and suspicions regarding Ms. Cox's fidelity. You won't want to miss what comes next. It's a doozy.
I'm asking, hey, what's going on, man? I'm hearing things. I'm hearing that, you know, you've been talking to my girl. I'm sitting there talking to this gentleman. I'm asking him, like, you know, what's going on? She know that we were hanging, we were talking.
Didn't even know who it was that I had relations after the grocery store.
Who it was.
Oh boy, here comes the best friend with some tea to spill. Ms. Cox admits to a physical relationship with another man during Mr. Ball's incarceration, but claims she disclosed this to Mr. Ball. The complication arises with revelations from Ms. Cox's best friend, who also has a child with Mr. Ball and allegedly still harbors feelings for him. Next up, the drama escalates. Stay tuned.
Did you tell Mr. Ball?
Yes, I did. I wrote him a letter and I told him everything, and he wrote back and still agreed to come home to hearing everything as long as everything was put to a stop. She beat me to the punch but my best friend at the time is his other child's mother.
Just when Mr. Ball thought he was out, they pull him back in with more drama. Upon his return, Mr. Ball finds evidence suggesting Ms. Cox was not only unfaithful, but also possibly lived with another man, contrary to her assertions that it was just a casual relationship. Hold on to your seat, because the next revelation is a real head spinner.
What I'm hearing is this guy was living there, staying there. He had keys to the place. She put him out.
When you got home, did you have any other indication that she was cheating?
You forgot about the time where I dropped you off with your mom? Into that big incident where I dropped you off at your mom's house, went and got then the time of me going to get my hair cut, coming back and picking her up.
It's getting hot in here with all these fiery allegations and sizzling photo evidence. The dispute deepens with allegations of Ms. Cox's ongoing relationship with another man, supported by deleted photos found by Mr. Ball. These photos show her intimate with another man, which she denies. The roller coaster isn't over yet. More twists are just around the corner.
Grabbing pictures off our computer, I pull up a picture,
not with the guy, he knew about the guy.
And another guy, and I asked her about it.
So what was in the picture?
Her arms around guys, kissing around guys.
No, it wasn't. And the pictures were deleted. They were in the recycling bin. He was looking for a reason to argue. Pictures were not even uploaded by me. They were uploaded by his child.
Cue the dramatic music because the birth story is about to unfold in full melodramatic glory. As Ms. Cox recounts the birth of their daughter and Mr. Ball's initial support, she highlights his refusal to sign the birth certificate due to doubts about paternity, which he later voices openly. The saga continues, and you're not going to believe what happens next.
And when it came down to signing the birth certificate, he wouldn't. He would not sign the birth certificate because he said he wanted to make.
I want to make it hard for you, but yet I'm there.
I offered him a DNA test in the hospital. He didn't want it. I made appointments for DNA tests and have been on my way. This man for the DNA test. He wants to give me stories. Oh, why didn't we take care of this 3 years ago?
Witnesses step up to the plate, each adding their own flavor to this spicy story. Witnesses, including Mr. Ball's fiance and mother, provide their perspectives, hinting at a complex web of relationships and ongoing disputes affecting their views on the child's paternity. Gear up, because the testimonies are about to drop some bombshells.
What do you know about this situation?
From when me and him got together, right away an issue. The first day he came down my house, he was outside honking her horn, screaming, crying. I feel like the child is just a pawn to get him back. Everything is about him and her. It's not about the baby. Always about Jesse and...
A moment of truth arrives with all the subtlety of a marching band in a library. The climactic moment arrives as the judge reads the DNA test results.
Mr. Ball, you are her father.
Can you believe what just went down? Ms. Thompson hauls Mr. McKinley into court to drop the bombshell that he's allegedly the dad to 6-month-old Legend, all while pointing fingers at his wife for pushing him to deny it. She asserts his wife's meddling ways are a big reason for his refusal to acknowledge the baby. And oh boy, the tea just keeps spilling from here.
You are summoning Mr. McKinley to court to prove and his wife that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Legend. You say his wife is petty and she is the cause of his paternity denial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you seeing this unfold? Mr. McKinley owns up to the affair with Ms. Thompson, but writes it off as a fling gone wrong, urging her to step back and track down the real dad. He pleads for her to stop dragging him and his long-suffering wife through the mud, spotlighting the turmoil it's brought to his 17-year marriage. Buckle up, because it's about to get even wilder.
Mr. McKinley, you admit that Ms. Thompson was an affair gone wrong, and you say Ms. Thompson needs to leave you and your wife 17 years alone and find her baby's father. Is that correct?
Did you catch that bombshell? Ms. Thompson spills the beans on their fling, starting from a few likes and comments on Facebook, painting it as more of a casual hookup than a love story. She recalls how Mr. McKinley's persistent digital flirting eventually led her to cave and give him a shot. The plot thickens dramatically in the next clip.
I was on Facebook. He was always liking my pictures. He was commenting on my pictures. He was always trying to get attention, to be noted. One day, I finally gave him a chance because he was real thirsty. I gave him a chance because I was like, okay, I want to go out on a date. I haven't even started. So I'm gonna let them hang themselves.
Okay, let her get the story out. Then I'm going to
I'm gonna let them hang
Kinley. I want to hear your side.
Because like I said, I'm 25 and I'm just trying to tell you the story because you asked me.
How wild was that confession? During a heated exchange, Ms. Thompson admits they sometimes threw caution to the wind during their hookups, hinting this recklessness might explain her pregnancy. The conversation heats up as accusations fly about Mr. McKinley capitalizing on her being tipsy one night. Trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I dated him. We had rap in common because I rap, and I write music. I took him to the studio and sexual encounters. Protected ourselves. Majority of the time, I had been drinking. We had messed around. I wasn't sober enough to make the right decisions. That's a lie. He took advantage of that.
That twist was unexpected. A fiery debate erupts over their flirty social media antics, with Mr. McKinley accusing Ms. Thompson of making the first move, which spiraled into the mess they're in now. The courtroom erupts into chaos as everyone chimes in, and the drama gets dialed up to 11. The next moment is even more jaw-dropping.
I post a picture of me leaving the studio. Miss Thompson got in my DM when you gonna bring me to the studio? I said, well, I don't know. Do you rap? Like, yeah, she rap. I said, well, okay.
He can barely talk.
I live today.
You know what?
Then the next day, she got in my inbox. I thought you were gonna bring me to the studio.
Who saw that coming? Mrs. McKinley, the scorned wife, dives into the tale of how she stumbled upon the affair by busting into a room to find Ms. Thompson and her hubby in a compromising position. She challenges the innocence of their meeting, suggesting something fishy was going on. The upcoming revelation is going to knock your socks off.
One of the girls up there told me that my husband have a young girl in the room. So I knew I had a picture how the girl looked. So I went over myself, knocked on the door. So he opened the door. I went in there. She laying in the bed, under the cover.
Whose house was this?
I took the cover off her head. Damn, what's going on? He's like, well, we doing music. Sit down. I'm like, no, I won't sit down.
Music in the bed, under the cover.
This just keeps getting juicier. Ms. Thompson recounts a wild trip to New Orleans with Mr. McKinley, where she was introduced to his whole family, suggesting things were serious between them. She reflects on their complex relationship, admitting it was deeper than she initially let on. Brace yourself, because there's more drama ahead.
Me and him ended up going to New Orleans, and I met his entire family.
Because
how is it that he was able to take me to his?
You were going places?
I went to New Orleans with him, regardless of struggle. I was struggling, and I had somewhere to go. But if he went, I was with him. So he introduced me to his family, his sister, his cousin. I went swimming. I'm talking about it's like I'm his girlfriend. You know? But in my mind, I'm like, okay, this man too old. But at the time, it's fun right now because I'm young and I'm enjoying his company.
Can you feel the tension in the room? In a pivotal moment, Ms. Thompson points out a peculiar genetic trait, their child's overlapping toes, which she claims links Mr. McKinley to the paternity. This genetic clue throws another layer of intrigue into the ongoing paternity saga. The tension is about to explode. Stay tuned.
Let me tell you something. I called him in the hospital on the second day because I looked at my child and I said, dang, I'm gonna own up to that. I did not want him to be the father, but my child showed you got a lot of this evidence shows that he has a stack. He grew into it, but when he was born, it's genetic things about my son. I told him about it. Oh yeah. So if that ain't your baby, take your shoe off. Let me see your toes.
You wanna see my toes?
Let me see. Take them off. You got on, did you put on socks?
The overlapping of toes, and it didn't come from you.
He admitted that
it affects an estimated 10% of the population.
What a turning point. The judge steps in to address the swirling emotions and relational chaos, stressing the importance of clear communication and mature handling of the situation, especially for little Legend's sake. The emotional climax is just around the corner. Don't go anywhere.
First, I wanted you to get the chip off your shoulder because I thought maybe after you got it off, we could get to really who you are and how this happened. What are we gonna do?
I didn't expect
how do we do that? Of course you did.
I made a mistake.
Now, if you all are trying to see the child, that's what I want to get to next. Legend's born. You say you want to be a part of Legend's life until you figure out if, in fact, it's your biological child.
Yes.
Here comes the big reveal. As the court reaches its peak, the results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. McKinley, you are the father.
Have I skipped out? I've been MIA for months at a time.
You have been there and you have been good to him.
That's the only reason that I feel like that's the only reason you're around, Felicia.
I feel like both of you guys are only good to Jordan. Both of you guys want me to be with you.
After she had the child, I ran in the dude that she was dating at the time. He said he took a DNA test, but he never seen the result, so therefore he could not be the father. I call it like I see it, she's a husband. So there's no way I could be the dad.
In a courtroom showdown for the ages, Ms. Mannion stands her ground, firmly asserting that Mr. Horn's the biological father of her son after a wild weekend decades ago. This bold claim cranks up the tension as she is confident against Mr. Horn's vehement denial. Strap in! The courtroom roller coaster is just taking off.
Ms. Mannion, you admit to this wild weekend of sex, but claim you have no doubt Mr. Horn is your son's biological father.
That is correct.
Now, you claim you received a shocking phone call 5 years ago. Tell the court what happened.
I was at work. I got a phone call from a family member who never calls me at work.
Mr. Horn fires back with a zinger, casting aspersions on Ms. Mannion's past and suggesting that her extensive liaisons make his paternity improbable. This bombshell amplifies the courtroom drama, showcasing Mr. Horn's no-holds-barred defense strategy. Buckle up because the fireworks are about to intensify.
I got the phone number from my family member, and I called Mr. Haight, kind of told him, I was like, you know, do you know how your mom is? I mean, she's like a railroad track. She's been laid all across America.
Try to be respectful, but I get it was your opinion that Ms. Mannion had been promiscuous. And so you had the phone conversation and you basically told him.
The twist of logic that would make a detective proud, Ms. Mannion explains that since another man was conclusively not the father, DNA test and all, Mr. Horn must be the dad. This pivotal moment in the paternity puzzle simplifies the complex question into a binary outcome. The plot thickens, so keep your eyes peeled for what's next.
He is the father because I was in another relationship. A paternity test did come out that the other guy was not the father. And there was only 2 people that I was with during that time.
You had a DNA test on the other one, and so you feel like it has to be Mr. Horn from this point. point.
After the conception episode, there was zero chit-chat or romance between Ms. Mannion and Mr. Horn, just utter radio silence. This snippet underscores the fleeting and spontaneous nature of their past encounter. The courtroom's next twist is sure to raise some eyebrows.
I only slept with Mr. Horn twice. One that night and one the next day.
Basically moved on. You guys did not. Did you ever hear she was pregnant?
I found out that she was pregnant after she had the child. I ran into the dude that she was dating at the time. He said he took a DNA test, but he never seen the result, so therefore he could not be the father. I call it like I see it, she's a husband. So there's no way I could be the dad.
Throwing another curveball into the mix, Ms. Mannion admits she initially suspected another beau was the baby daddy, which led to a paternity scramble involving a DNA test. This adds a delicious layer of complexity to the already spicy case. Stay tuned, the revelations are about to get juicier.
Did you immediately think it was Mr. Horn's child? You thought it was someone else. And that's the man that you had tested?
Well, I did not pay for it. His family did.
Did you bring copies of DNA testing results? Proof.
I did not get the results. I know as he told me.
I even called her family after this because the said dude that she thought was the father gave me the phone number because I was like, you know, if I got a kid, I want to be part of the kid's life.
In a moment of soap opera-worthy suspense, Ms. Mannion finally spills the beans to her son about Mr. Horn's potential daddy status only when directly questioned. This delay in dropping the paternal bombshell adds a thick layer of drama and emotional turmoil for their son, Andrew. The response to this bombshell is up next, and it's a doozy.
Did you truly believe Mr. Horn was father? You've admitted in court today that there possibly could be another man, but they told you the DNA test said it proved it wasn't true. So did you ever think to maybe fill your son in and say, well, there also was another guy?
The other guy did sign the birth certificate because he believed also that he was the father.
Amid the emotional whirlwind, Andrew steps up with a heart-wrenching appeal, hoping to forge a meaningful connection with Mr. Horn if the DNA aligns. His yearning for a stable paternal figure is palpable and tugs at the heartstrings. The emotional climax is just around the corner, and it's a tearjerker.
I'm hoping that I actually found my father.
So since you were 12 years old, you've been carrying the name Kevin Horn in the back of your mind. It's the first time you've ever laid eyes.
Yeah. Other than a picture on the internet when I found the information. My grandmother-in-law, all the information that he gave her, did investigative work myself to find him.
Cue the dramatic pause as the judge delivers the much-anticipated DNA verdict.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Horn, you are his father.
I told you.
Can you believe what just happened? Ms. Rainey addresses the court, explaining that she is requesting paternity tests for her 2 children and is suing Mr. Matthews for half of the expenses incurred for their care. She admits to a relationship with another man during conception due to Mr. Matthews' refusal to accept responsibility. Just when you think it's intense, the next moment takes it a step further. Did that really just unfold before our eyes? Mr. Matthews expresses his doubt about being the father, accusing Ms. Rainey of promiscuity and questioning the paternity heightens the tension, setting the stage for the emotional and confrontational nature of the proceedings. You won't believe what comes next.
You say you are confident the children are not yours. That will be proven when today's DNA results are revealed.
Yes, Your Honor.
This exchange is escalating quickly. A heated exchange ensues about the date of conception and the involvement of Mr. Matthews around the time Ms. Rainey went into labor. Mr. Matthews denies consistent involvement, while Ms. Rainey confronts him about an ultimatum she issued regarding marriage and paternity acknowledgement, leading her to name their son Solid after another man. The drama ramps up even more in the following exchange.
It's not possible that it can only be between me and one other person. She is known to have family trees. When I say this, I mean it's like...
This is a pivotal revelation. Ms. Rainey recounts their long-term relationship and financial dynamics, highlighting Mr. Matthews' reluctance to commit or financially contribute meaningfully. This discussion reveals the depth of their personal and financial entanglements and the strain on their relationship. Keep watching. The intensity doesn't drop here.
You're saying that you all were together.
I dealt with him for 8.5 years. Yes,
Right.
I did. I was in love with this man.
He basically was not going to do what you...
Implies deeper feelings, which Mr. Matthews denies, revealing a stark emotional disconnect and lack of responsibility towards their children. And it only gets more heated from here, her independence and the lack of support from Mr. Matthews. This moment underscores her resilience and determination to provide for her family despite... You'll want to pay close attention here. A poignant moment arises as Ms. Rainey discusses the cycle of absence and neglect from male figures in her life, including her father and Mr. Matthews. She expresses a strong desire to break the...
You are indeed her father.
Buckle up because the courtroom drama is just warming up. Judge Lake kicks off the proceedings with a bombshell. Ms. Ray is entangled in a love triangle and isn't sure who fathered her son, Jordan. She openly admits the emotional chaos this has caused. Hang tight because the room's about to heat up even more.
So you confess you got caught in a love triangle, and now, though it breaks heart, you don't know which man fathered your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where the plot twists again. Ms. Ray spills the tea on her complicated personal saga, explaining how she took a break from Mr. Wise and found solace, and maybe more, in Mr. Eastham during a few wild nights. As the mystery deepens, the next revelation will definitely turn heads.
At the end of the summer in 2011, me and Mr. Wise was on a break. A longtime friend of mine, shoulder to cry on. We had 2 different occasions. We had got drunk and partied together. We do not know if we had sex. It is a possibility he could be Jordan's father.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's getting bumpy. Mr. Wise reveals a whopper. He only found out about the other potential daddy 2 months post Jordan's arrival, thanks to Ms. Ray keeping it under wraps. This explosive tidbit shines a glaring spotlight on the emotional turmoil swirling around. And just when you think it can't get crazier, it does.
2 months after Jordan was born.
That is when I told Josh that Dave could possibly be the father, because 2 nights that we had partied together, we do not know what happened either. I was honestly scared to death. It's because we had twins that passed away. Jordan was not Josh's child.
Gear up for a curveball. During an emotionally charged showdown, court examines side-by-side photos of Jordan and Mr. Wise, leading to a tense moment of acknowledgments about their similarities. Just when you think you've seen it all, the next clip will throw you for a loop.
Jordan on the left, and then you, Mr. Wise, on the right. He's starting to look like you.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think he looks just like Josh.
You love that little boy.
Both of them.
He calls you daddy.
Brace for a heart tug. Both gentlemen lay bare their emotional connections with Jordan, each asserting his fatherly bond. This poignant scene underscores the emotional stakes involved, far beyond the mere legalities of paternity. The next part, it's a real tearjerker.
It is what it is.
Ain't nobody gonna take my son from me.
Ain't nobody gonna take him from me neither. I'm just trying to.
I feel like since day one you've tried to hold that of you being Jordan's dad over my
let me say
head.
this. Have I skipped out on
You have been there and you have been good to him.
And yes, that's the only reason that I feel like that's the only reason you're around, Felicia.
I feel like both of you guys are only good to Jordan.
Keep your eyes peeled. The drama escalates. A fiery debate erupts over past relationships, betrayals, and alleged sabotage, painting a tangled web of emotions and accusations. This intense exchange sets the stage for even more jaw-dropping moments to follow.
If she was happy in the past 1.5 years, how come me and her had occurrences in the past year?
Ask her that. Because
you ran back to your baby's mom as well. That too can play that game, baby.
I sure did.
Yeah.
I sure
sound like I'm no hoe that just ran around.
I'm not saying that. But
amid the emotional whirlwind, a clear priority emerges. Ms. Ray declares her focus on Jordan's welfare and her own stability, sidelining the paternity drama. As she reiterates her commitment to her son, the stage is set for a verdict that will shock everyone. Prepare for an emotional roller coaster up next.
I'm here because that little boy on that TV screen, to give him peace of mind.
You all have painted the picture.
I don't want either one of them, Your Honor. I love Josh and I genuinely love Dave. He is my best friend. I want to focus on that baby right there and then build a relationship with a stranger that I've never met before. But right now, Jordan is my focus.
As the verdict looms, the tension could be cut with a knife. The build-up to Judge Lake revealing the paternity test results is palpable, with everyone on edge about the potentially life-altering outcome. Get ready, because the reveal is nothing short of breathtaking.
The important thing is you gotta get out of the denial. You gotta act like all under control in this situation and decide, fight that urge to go from one man to the next. That's what you've been doing. And they just sitting around here waiting for the serve. They're just waiting.
Grab the tissue. Here comes the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Wise is his father.
I told you.
Can you believe what just went down? Savannah Osborne, alongside her aunt, strides into court to declare that Billy Jack Fitzmaurice is her biological dad. They've demanded a paternity test to clear the air once and for all. Savannah confirms this boldly when prodded by the judge. Buckle up, because the roller coaster is just starting.
You are here to prove Billy Jack Fitzmaurice is your dad. You and your aunt petitioned the court for paternity test, finally prove the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you see that curveball coming? Miss Osborne, Savannah's mom, admits she let her daughter believe Mr. Fitzmaurice was her dad for years. But plot twist, she now claims another dude is the real dad, and she's here to prove it. She unpacks the messy backstory that led them to this courtroom showdown. The plot thickens, so stay tuned.
Well, I've always grew up thinking that Billy was my father and that I resembled him. And I even moved in with my dad's side of the family. And then all of a sudden, when I was about 12, I got told otherwise.
Hold the phone. What a bombshell. At age 12, while chilling and watching TV, Savannah's mom drops a massive revelation. Mr. Fitzmaurice might not be her father. This threw Savannah for a loop, sending her scrambling to call her aunt for support. You'll want to stick around because what happens next is even juicier.
What happened when you were 12?
We were just sitting watching TV, and suddenly she looks at me, she says, you know, there's a possibility that another man could be your father.
And what was your reaction?
At the moment, I didn't know what to do. Kind of just left the room, went and called my aunt.
And your aunt, Miss Brooks. Miss Brooks, do you remember that call?
Yes, I do.
Well, this is a plot twist. Savannah's mom confesses to juggling romances with both Mr. Fitzmaurice and another man when Savannah was conceived, admitting either could be the father. She leans toward the other guy being the dad, based on gut feel more than hard proof. The emotional stakes are sky high. Don't go anywhere.
I told her that another guy could be her father, but I never heard that Billy Jack was her father because his family put in her head that he was her father. I just kind of went with it.
For 12 years, who were you saying was her biological father?
I didn't say who was her father.
But she's living with his family.
Yes, and at the time,
Talk about an emotional whirlwind. Savannah openly discusses how her mom's revelations have turned her world upside down, tangling up her sense of identity and family ties. This chapter of her life has been fraught with confusion and distress. The upcoming scene is even more tear-jerking.
Because I just want to know the truth of who my father is. I shouldn't have to wait until I was 12 years old to figure this out. I should have known that there was not a possibility before I grew attached to my father and grew a bond with my whole family.
Your mom kind of dropped a bomb on you at 12 years. When you hear that, and you had to live with this now for 8 years, this must hurt you very much.
Yes, it does.
You won't believe your ears with this one. Savannah confronts her mom in court over the lifelong confusion and pain caused by her past decisions. Her mom offers up an apology, attempting to explain her young and naive mindset at the time. As the truth edges closer, the air is thick with anticipation.
It really feels horrible to not know who my real father is. After growing all these years to believe somebody else was my father, and it couldn't be.
I am sorry, Savannah. When you was young, you wouldn't have been able to handle it as well, 9 or 10, as you would at 12 and 13. So I waited to help you.
The suspense is killing me. As the episode reaches its climax, the court prepares to reveal the paternity results. Savannah shares her desperate need for truth to possibly repair her relationship with her mom and find some semblance of peace. The big reveal is imminent, and it promises to be a stunner.
At the end of the day, it must hurt that you had to drag your mother to...
Yes, it really does, but I need to know the truth. I was brought up on a lie. I have to know.
You have tears in your eyes.
Because
the young woman you believe is your niece.
And I love her dearly. And we were always told from day one from Donna that Savannah was our I call her our baby, but our niece.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Aunt Brooks takes the stand to discuss the family's initial acceptance of Savannah based on her mom's claims during her pregnancy. This layer of family drama adds depth to the already complicated narrative. Brace yourself. The next disclosure changes everything.
When he brought Donna home, we were a little shocked because was working as a stripper. We didn't know what to believe, but we believed my brother, Donna, both when they said that Billy was her biological father, that she was pregnant with Savannah, and that was...
Billy Jack is the one that took it upon himself that Savannah was his when I told him I was pregnant. I had told both men that I was pregnant.
The tension is almost palpable, with relationships hanging in the balance. The emotional significance of the upcoming DNA results can't be overstated. It involves potential father-daughter bonds and a strained mother-daughter relationship. Ready or not, the results are about to drop, and they're nothing short of explosive.
I don't want her to have to lie to me anymore, and I want to have a better bond with my mom. But until I know the truth, I don't think that's going to happen.
And I also would like to say this is dividing our family, so we need to know that. And you know, Jasmine could also be my brother's child.
Well, it seems like the stakes are very high. Got a mother-daughter relationship on the line, in addition to father-daughter and the family that raised her. I have the results for you. I think it's time.
Grab some popcorn. Here comes the big moment. The paternity results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by court. Ms. Brooks and Savannah are related.
Strap in for a wild ride. Ms. Murray strides into court with a mission. She's here to get Mr. Lee to finally acknowledge he's the father of her 14-month-old daughter, Winter. She's fed up with his denials and demands that he steps up after today's DNA test results are revealed. You won't believe how Mr. Lee responds to this, so keep watching.
Ms. Murray, you are here today to get Mr. Lee to stop denying that he fathered your 14-month-old daughter. You demand he man up and own up to his responsibility after today's DNA test.
Your Honor.
Here's where it gets spicy. Mr. Lee throws a curveball by admitting to a brief fling with Ms. Murray, but vehemently denies fathering her child. He points to a tangled web of relationships on her part and his belief that she confirmed not being pregnant by him as reasons to doubt his paternity. Just when you think you've heard it all, the next part adds even more intrigue.
You had a one-night stand with Ms. Murray before her pregnancy, but claim she later confirmed she was not pregnant by you. You admit to one night, but state she had multiple men and there's no way you are her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
The courtroom heat turns up a notch. Ms. Murray labels Mr. Lee a deadbeat in front of the judge, sparking a fiery exchange. Mr. Lee retorts by mentioning his 6 other children and insists that Winter isn't his, accusing Ms. Murray of trying to trap him because of his reputation as a good father. Buckle up because the drama intensifies from here.
Mr. Lee, a deadbeat. He has not done anything for Winter.
That's ludicrous. I have 6 other kids.
Exactly.
And I am not, because she's trying to pin this baby on me because she know I'm a good guy and I'm a good father.
You're not a good anything. You're a deadbeat. You barely care of them 6 kids that you got.
And Winter's 15 months and you're saying that Mr. Lee hasn't done anything for?
Dive deeper into their backstory. This part is juicy. We learn how Ms. Murray, an exotic dancer, met Mr. Lee, her customer for a decade, setting the stage for their complex relationship. Their connection evolved from business to personal, muddling the waters around the paternity dispute with layers of personal and emotional history. You'll want to stick around as the layers of their path continue to unravel.
I met Mr. Lee at the club. I used to be a dancer, and he was my customer for about 10 years. So that's really how I met him. He was infatuated with, but once he got to know Demiki, he did not like him, and he's taking it out on his innocent child.
But he was your customer for 10 years.
Yes.
Hold on to your seats for this confession. During a detailed discussion about their initial hookup, Mr. Lee admits to breaking the golden rule of not using a dancer's condom, suspecting it might have been sabotage. This key moment sheds light on trust issues and the pivotal night that could have led to Winter's conception. And just when you think it can't get more complicated, the plot thickens even more.
Well, it was after the club, text me, I came over, and unfortunately, I broke the golden rule.
You broke the what?
The golden rule.
The golden rule? What's the golden rule?
Never use the stripper's condom.
It was not mine, Fabe.
Oh, the golden rule is never use a condom that the stripper gives.
You bring it on, and I can't.
You might want to sit down for this twist. The plot thickens as they reveal a second unprotected encounter, justified by Mr. Lee's mistaken belief that Ms. Murray was already pregnant. This crucial slip-up falls right within the probable window for conceiving Winter, highlighting the chaos and miscommunication defining their relationship. As the tension builds, get ready for the bombshell about to drop.
So how long after she told you not pregnant, how long after that did you sleep with each other again?
Like 2 weeks.
You meet up again, have sex again, you don't use protection. And you claim that's because she said she's already pregnant. You didn't have any proof of that.
But see, the thing about it is, I always thought.
The grand finale is nothing short of explosive. The DNA results are finally disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lee, you are the father.
Is that what your baby say?
Get ready for a roller coaster. At the beginning of the episode, the plaintiff, Mr. Thompson, comes out swinging, asserting that he, not Mr. Fresneda, is the biological father of Ms. Jasmine Robinson. Despite never having met her, he is confident that the DNA test will prove his paternity today. Strap in, because this is just the warm-up act.
And you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Fresneda, to court to prove that you not fathered Ms. Jasmine Robinson. You've never met Ms. Robinson, but say today you'll prove she's yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Brace yourselves for this declaration. Mr. Fresneda, who was married to Ms. Robinson's mother, steps up with confidence, claiming that today's DNA test results will confirm him as the biological father. His certainty sets the stage for a contentious dispute over paternity. The air is getting thick with tension, and there's more to come.
Fresneda, you were married to Ms. Robinson's mother and claim today's DNA test result will confirm that you are the biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things just got real. As Ms. Robinson is escorted into the courtroom, a totally out-of-line comment from the plaintiff's side throws a curveball, which Judge Lake immediately shuts down. This moment heightens the tension in the courtroom, underlining the personal stakes involved. Buckle up, the courtroom drama is ramping up.
Before we start the case, Ron, can you escort Ms. Robinson into the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please, thank you.
I'm just stand right here.
Mr. Thompson, why did you finally decide to reach out to Ms. Robinson?
The plot thickens deliciously here. Mr. Thompson dives into his backstory, explaining his reason for reaching out to Ms. Robinson, citing a past relationship with her mother and suggestions from family members that Robinson resembled. This revelation adds a layer of personal and historical complexity to the case. Things are about to get even spicier.
Me and her mother had relations while Miss Fresneda was away. When Miss Fresneda came back into the picture, I stopped seeing Sonia, and she was pregnant. The child was born. Family members came to me stating, you know, that she looks like me, things of that nature. Sonia said no, who she got pregnant by.
Cue the shock and awe. Jasmine Robinson is floored by the revelation of another potential father, stating she had no prior knowledge of Mr. Thompson's assertions. Her emotional response underscores the personal impact of the paternity dispute. The revelations keep coming, and they're jaw-dropping.
I wouldn't have expected that my dad, that I know as my dad, to not be my dad because he never treated me no different, so I would have never suspected.
Now, he says he heard things from your family members. You've never heard those murmuring whispers through the grapevine?
Nobody never told me anything. They just left me in the dark. Nobody said nothing to me about it.
Hold on to your coffee for this bombshell. The emotional weight of the case deepens as Mr. Thompson reveals that Ms. Robinson's mother has passed away. He claims it was her dying wish to acknowledge Mr. Fresneda as the father, yet he remains determined to prove his paternity. Stay tuned, because this emotional roller coaster is far from over.
It's sorry to say, but you know, I got a phone call saying that she had passed away, and I was like,
Are you speaking of Jasmine's mother?
It was her wishes to say that it was Mr. Fresneda's baby. They raised her, but I'm here today to prove that I am the father. In my heart, she's my daughter.
This part is a real doozy. The drama escalates when Ms. Robinson recounts how Mr. Thompson first contacted her via Facebook, hinting at a secret about her paternity. This digital encounter introduces a modern element to the unfolding family drama. Hang tight, because the emotional stakes are about to soar even higher.
June 2010, he had messaged me on Facebook. The first message in was like, hey, tell your mom that I said hi. But I just brushed it off. I'm like, my mom has her own Facebook page, so I just left it alone. Didn't say anything about it. 5 years later, he had reached out to me again. I have a copy of Facebook message.
I'd like to see that.
Get ready for the family fireworks. As Ms. Robinson seeks validation of Mr. Thompson's claims, she turns to her Aunt Felicia and her presumed father, Mr. Fresneda, both of whom confirm the long-standing suspicion about her paternity. The family's intertwined reactions add depth to the narrative, painting a picture of hidden truth and communal secrecy. The next twist, it's a real kicker.
I was like, yeah, right. That's all I could think. Like, this is crazy. Like, who guy telling me that he's my dad? I thought it was a joke at first, kind of. And so I had called my Aunt Felicia. Guy named Ladner Thompson's messaging me on Facebook saying that he's my dad. And then she was like, what's his name? And I had said Ladner Thompson. And she, oh my God. Oh, and I'm like, oh my God, what?
And now for a twist you didn't see coming. Aunt Felicia's testimony provides historical insight, confirming that Ms. Robinson's mom consistently named Mr. Fresneda as the father. Her account adds credibility to the established family narrative, yet hints at underlying doubts about the paternity. The upcoming reveal is poised to shake things up.
Who did your late sister name as father? Mr. Fresneda was always father that her late mother.
Absolutely.
Did she ever mention to you that Mr. Thompson could potentially be Ms. Robinson's father?
She always denied it. If we brought it to her attention, she always said that Ladner was not Jasmine's father.
Ready for the grand finale? The climax of the episode occurs when Judge Lake reads the DNA results.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Thompson. You are her father.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.